Hello everybody, today we are doing, another ranking. Now, this is, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I said I was going to do a Korn updated list, and I decided that I didn't want to do that, and I'm going to wait a different time. I just need to listen to all their albums again, and then I will deliver it. Now, we're doing a band that I got into not long ago, about like a year or two ago, maybe a year. I would say. Yeah, definitely a year. Okay, so this band is OPETH, read by the title down there, but yeah, this is OPETH album rankings, and OPETH is a great band. I love them, and just to say, first, I have a lot of rankings, or ideas for videos, rankings, and that type of stuff, in the works, so, stay tuned for plenty of videos soon. But right now, we're doing an OPETH ranking, and please, go DM me on Instagram, and, just give me video ideas. I would love that, and my Instagram is mtthw stroud in the description. Alright, let's just start rambling and get to the list. Alright, and, oh yeah, and I was gonna say, I'm not a fan of their prog rock areas from, like, 2011 on, I think. So so those are all at the end, but I'm still gonna put them in there, just because, I've listened to them. Okay, so, the 13th, my last, OPETH album that I don't like, actually. Most albums I'm okay with, but I don't like this one. It is, I can't pronounce it. The Cauda Venium. Sorry, I'm terrible at pronunciations, but I listened to 4 songs, maybe 5, and I just couldn't listen to it anymore. I'm not a fan of prog rock. I'm not a fan of prog. I'm sorry, I do not like prog and that type of stuff. And this album, it's not my favorite. Definitely not. The album cover looked cool, so I was like, oh, I'll check it out. But yeah. Yeah, it's not my favorite. So, moving on to, what is it? Heritage. Yes, Heritage. Now, Heritage, they had like a whole death metal album that they were gonna bring out. Like, they had a whole death metal album with, like, this was their last, not their last death metal album, but their first prog metal album. And then they're like, screw it, let's throw that away. Let's do another one. And this is what came out of it. I like the album cover. I like the album covers of all these new albums too, but I listened to the full album because I didn't know that, like, they stopped doing it on this album, so I thought it was a death metal album, but it's okay. It's not the best. It feels confusing, it's very confusing, because it's like they're putting a little bit of, the tiniest bit of death metal elements, but you can hear the prog sound. And yeah, I'm just not the biggest fan of it. So, next one will be Sorcerers. Sorcerers, love the album cover. One of my favorites. It's actually an okay album. Yeah. But I was listening, when I was listening to it, it felt kind of, it felt weird, because I would say their very, 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 first prog album, because they were kind of, like, confused. They were like, so I want to do prog, but they were confused. So then they moved on, and this is them, and they're like, okay, this is what we want to do. This is what we're gonna do, and this is the album that they brought, and it's pretty good. It still sounds the same as the album previous and the album before that. It's just, but it's in my opinion, is better than those two. Alright. The last one from the prog phase, well, Pale Communication. Sorry, I can't speak, but this was actually, I liked a lot of the songs off of this. It was a pretty good album. I liked the way it sounded, and yeah, this is the album before Sorcerers, and this is a great album if you like metal and prog, like the two. I'm not a big fan of prog, like I said, but I actually kind of like this album. I actually haven't listened to the whole thing, but I have a few songs that I find okay off this album. But yeah, it's a pretty okay album. Okay, now let's get into the death metal stuff. Okay, so next we have Orchid. This is their debut album, their first album. So I like In the Mist She Was Standing There, but it's so long. It's 15 minutes long, and it sounds raw. The whole album sounds raw. Like, it sounds like raw death metal, and I think that's what they were going for, but I love raw death metal, but this was like and I also love the album cover, but the most debut albums I actually really like, but this one was not the best, so yeah, I'm gonna have to put that my fifth least favorite. Okay. Okay, so this one, sorry, oh man, sorry, my phone keeps turning off, but this one is Damnation. This is like such a melodic album. It's still in their death metal, like death metal times. This album was right after Deliverance, and this is a good album. Window Pane is one of my favorite OPETH songs ever. That's just a great one. In My Time of Need, that's a really good one. It's just all melodic, not melodic where like the two joining guitars and those weird solos like Iron Maiden or something like that. It's just like pretty. It's a pretty album, and that's all I really have to say about it. It's a pretty album. All right, next one is Watershed. Now, this album, can't find it. Okay, there it is. This is their last album before they did prog. Yeah, it is, and I actually like it. I was kind of iffy about this at first, but it's actually really heavy, and my music taste has expanded, and it expanded to stuff like this, and I love Heir Apparent, Lotus Eater, Burden. Those are all great songs. I kind of like the whole vibe of the album. It gives off a good vibe, and I love listening to the song. This is a very heavy album, but it's also very melodic in some points, and it's very good. I really like it. So that is that. And next one might be a little controversial, but this one is another pretty raw, I would say, sounding album. This one is their 1999's Still Life album. This album is great. I really like this album. It gives off like a summer vibe. I don't know why, it just does. Like, because of the whole atmosphere of it. I don't really have much to say about this album, but it's good. I like it. So there's songs like Serenity Painted Death. That is one of my favorite OPETH songs, so I have to put this somewhere high. And Moonlapse Vertigo, that's a great one. And yeah, I don't have a lot to say about this, but it's good. It's a pretty good album. Alright, next will be Morning Rise. So this one is their second album ever. It's actually it's short but sweet. I would say because it only has 6 songs, but they have one of their longest songs on this album, and that is Black Rose Immortal. I've listened to this song, the full song, 3 times maybe, and I need to listen to it more. All the songs are super long. This is when they started to get in, like, finding where they wanted to go. Yeah, this album is just a gem. I love it. Advent is a great song. A Nectar is a great song. Eternal Soul Torture is a good song. I love it. It's a great album. But it's not one of my favorites. So, alright, next one. I was, honestly thinking of putting this way higher, but I like the other albums more. This is Ghost Reveres. Yeah, this album is like a spooky album, and I like that. I like its vibe. Ghost of God, why can't I can't pronounce it. Ghost of Perditon. Ghost of Perdot. You know the song, okay? Ghost of Perdition, I'm just gonna call it. That is one of my favorite songs. It gets heavy at the end, but I like the melodic start to it, that riff that Michael does, and it's great. I love the Bang of the Hounds, Hours of Wealth, the Grand Conjuration. Sorry, but yeah, this is a great album. The songs are pretty long off of this one too, but all OPETH songs are really long. But yeah, I like this one. This is a solid album, great album, in fact. Great album. Alright, now we're getting into the stuff that really made me love OPETH. Okay, this is where it gets intense. Alright, next one is My Arms, Your Hearse. Now, this is the one of the first OPETH albums I ever heard, probably the second. It has amazing songs like Demon of the Fall. Oh my god, that is such a brutal song. I love it. Epilogue, April, Eternal, the Amen Corner, that's a pretty heavy song. And for me, it feels like their most death metal album. And I love death metal, but it feels like their most death metal album. It is awesome. I love the album cover. And yeah, it's just great. And I'll say one thing right now. If it wasn't for Michael Akerfeld, I probably wouldn't like OPETH. And no offense to the other guys, I love you, but he makes the band with his vocals, his heavy guitar riffs. Yeah, I think this is his band, and I'll say that right now. But yeah, if it wasn't for Michael, I probably wouldn't like OPETH. Alright. Next one. Some people, most people put this as their favorite OPETH album, one of their favorite albums of all time, Blackwater Park. And this is my second favorite OPETH album. But yeah, it has amazing songs, like Leper Affinity, Bleak, Harvest, The Drapery Falls. Yeah, that's a great one. Dirt for November. Every song off this album is great. There's not a single song that I don't like off this album. Funeral Portrait, Patterns in the Ivy, Blackwater Park. Blackwater Park is so heavy at the end, near the end, but yeah, it's a great album. I would say they're best on terms of like starting their career and just being the album, I would say. Alright, this one is, I don't know why this is my favorite, but it is. Deliverance. Oh boy, this is such a good album. This is one of my favorite albums of all time. My first OPETH album I've ever heard. I heard Deliverance, the song, come on the radio, and I was just like, whoa. And with other bands, a lot of the times, I'm like, I listened to one song, then I listened to the rest of their discography, and I'm like, I'll just like this song. But I listened to this song, and I checked out this whole album, and I was just mind blown. I was like, I need to check out more. And then I checked out more, and wow, it brought me into a new type of music, and that is OPETH. Yeah, there's my list. If you have a different list, please comment it down below. But yeah, that is it for one of the best death metal bands ever. Best metal bands ever. Yeah. So yeah, if you like this video, please hit that like button and share it with your friends if you have a friend who likes OPETH and likes reviews. I don't know, but yeah. Thank you guys very much, and goodbye. And I'll see you in the next video, which is very soon.